Well, this is the ferry crossing to Solnäs. This is our last ferry crossing before the Atlantic Highway. Oh, sorry, not the Atlantic Highway, the Atlanterhavsvegen. So we're going to jump on this, and then we've got about, I think it's about half an hour or 3/4 of an hour riding up to Bud. And there's a British biker there, but he rode past me and just gave me a wave. That's the first British motorcycle I think I've seen on this whole trip. So all the tourists here are heading for the same road that I am. So anyway, there's not too many. Right, better get our gear on and get down to the boat. So this is ferry journey number 9 of this trip, and as it turns out, we're not even halfway yet. But we'll get Wilbur onto the ferry and we'll park him up near the front, and he's got a friend to talk to on this one. Look at that. He's happy. So we'll wait for the jaws of the boat to open. There we are. He likes his front view. And we'll get ourselves off on the road heading up towards Bud. So it turns out this is Anton on our right here. And he's going all the way up. He's going to go up to Nordkapp. So we ride with Anton for, well, about half the day here, I think. So we'll follow him as we head up the road. So we've just got off the ferry at Solnäs there at the bottom, and we're going to ride up the 664 to Bud, and that is where the Atlanterhavsvegen starts. Well, this road is famous for its bridges, and the first one, we haven't got to the Atlanterhavsvegen yet, but this bridge is the Bolsøy Bru, and this was actually built in 1991, and it was a toll road, but once they've paid the tolls back in Norway, they make it free. So it's 550 metres long, 16 metres high, and it's got 11 spans, and this is one of those iconic bridges that you'll see photos on in brochures, because it disappears off down into this forest on the island. We were going through some very heavy rain, as you can see, but this car in front was doing bizarre things, and every time a car came the other way they jammed their brakes on. So it was time to get out of their way before they did something else random. But it was wet. You can see the bow waves being ploughed by the vehicles coming the other way. And the trucks, God, the trucks, you didn't have to get wet. Anyway, we'll keep going. The scenery's opening up, as you can see. We're just trying to stay out of those wheel tracks, because they're like two rivers on the road, but it's getting drier the nearer to Bud we get. Well, we've made it to the start of the Atlantic Highway. It's extremely windy. I think the mic will be okay picking this up. We went through some horrendous rain showers, and it appears when it rains here it fills up the wells in the road, and the trucks and things driving the other way absolutely drench you. But anyway, it's we found a spot. We're at the start of the Atlantic Highway. We're in Bud, and what a great place to stop for a picnic. So we'll give Wilbur a break. The wind will soon dry me out. Found another pom. We got a British guy that we caught upon the ferry, and we've just been riding together up here to Bud for the last 40 or 50 kilometres or so.
My name's Anton, from Bath, I guess. Been living there the last 5 years, and just been making my way these last few weeks up Norway, and the idea is to go reach Nordkapp in about a week's time, and then find our way south, either through Finland, Sweden or Norway. It's all a bit up in the air because of COVID, but that's the plan. And I've got my trusty V-Strom with me, and she's been very good. And it's a bit windy, but good roads.
So Anton headed off because he wanted to look at some World War II bunkers that were around in the area. So we finished our picnic and then we were off too. So we're in the town of Bud here, and we can pick up the Atlanterhavsvegen. So the official tourist route is 38 kilometres long, and it runs from Bud to Kårvåg. But the actual Atlantic Ocean Road section of it is only 8 kilometres, and that's the last 8 kilometres that are on the eastern end from Vevang to Kårvåg. So there's a bit of discussion and a bit of debate on the internet, it seems, about what the Atlantic Ocean Road actually is. Is it 38 kilometres or 8 kilometres? Anyway, we're going to find out. That's it, we're out of Bud. Let's get going and see what this road's all about. I know what you're thinking. This is the Atlanterhavsvegen. Where's the Atlantic? And I was surprised too. The road actually runs inland, so the first 30 kilometres of this 38 kilometres do it in this direction. It was through farmland. Although it was nice scenery, there certainly wasn't much Atlantic to see. There's a couple of naughty left-hand turns you need to catch on this road, otherwise you end up off-piste. But believe it or not, this is the correct road. Yes, it looks more like a goat track in places, but at least we're heading back towards the coast a bit here. So the scenery as we get towards the northeastern end of it starts to open up a bit. That first 30 kilometres, that was not very impressive at all. But let's see what the last 8 offer. So this is it. This is Vevang, which is the first bridge on the 8 kilometre run through the true Atlantic Ocean Road. This is only 119 metres long, but it marks the start of what we're hoping will be this amazing road. There's 8 bridges in total on this 8 kilometre section, and 3 of the bridges are together here. They're called the Kårvåg bridges, and they're 293 metres long in total, but they wind through these rocky sections. But it's the next bridge that's really the iconic one. You can just see it there in the background, arcing over the top of the bay. That's the iconic bridge of the route. This is the Storseisundsbroa, and it's the longest bridge on the route. 260 metres long, and it's 23 metres above the sea, and it's a cantilever construction, as you can see with the 2 posts. It was very, very windy by now, and you can see rain showers in the horizon there pouring down. I was a little bit sketchy about going over this. It really was very windy. You can see the flag there stuck out like a stick. This was a problem building the bridge. It took them 6 years to build this bridge, and there was 12 hurricanes went through during the construction. That's why it took so long to build. Finally, we go over the two Lavoie sun bridges. Now the first one's 52 metres, the last one's 115, and as you can see it's just started pouring down as we get back onto the mainland. This was going to prove to be a very wet afternoon. The plan was pretty simple: go from Kårvåg to Skogrand camping, which had identified as a good place to stop. 150 k's, about 3 hours riding. Let's just get on and do it. But as I said, it turned out and it just got wetter and wetter. It was quite a nice route running along there towards Kristiansand. The traffic was getting busier and I'd completely underestimated that. Well, Kristiansand, I must have timed it just wrong or something, but it was just a car park, the whole town. So it was wet, it was cold, and the traffic was bad. I was glad to get out. That was the hell that was Kristiansand, so I've had enough of that. No thank you, don't need to go there again. Just filled up with fuel, put in the sat-nav for the camping. Let's go. I'm just going to chew the E39 now and get to the camping. I'm quite wet. But that's not before we take ferry journey number 11 on this trip. Atlanterhavsvegen for this one. This is the E39, which is one of the main European designated routes, and there's a boat on it. But anyway, timed it perfectly. So as you can see, there's quite a few vehicles upstairs, but there's only me and one other person. The cafe over there is completely self-service. There's no staff. You go up and I wanted some chocolate and a coffee, and you go up and you scan your own stuff and tap with your card and you're done. There was some great scenery and empty roads here heading up towards home, but it was getting wetter and wetter and wetter. This was by far the wettest riding that we'd had in all of our time. And there was this mad guy here out on dry skis. Crazy in this weather on those roads. Anyway, we're near the camping here and we can turn our way in. And that's it. It's with some relief that we've found our way to Skogrand camping. That's a welcome sight. Well, that's a result. This is Skogrand camping, and typically, as I've just got here, it's just stopped raining. It's got a great view over the lake on both sides, and the lady in reception felt so sorry for me when I turned up. All the little huts down there are all taken, they're all gone. And she said, I'll tell you what, I'll give you the apartment. She said, it's an old house, it's not so pretty, but you can take that if you want. Like, yeah, no worries. She said, you can't stay in a tent in this weather. That is a result, because 40 quid, it's dry and it's got a bed, and that'll do me very nicely. And poor old Wilbur. So I'd said earlier Skogrand camping was beside the lake, because it isn't the lake, it's the Atlantic Ocean, it's the sea. And the camping is on a short peninsula that sticks out there. It's a great spot, I was very pleased to find this. It's just a shame the weather's so miserable that I can't get out and enjoy it so much. But Wilbur, he's got a cover tonight on the distributor. I'm not having that full of water again. The best road in the world, best road trip according to The Guardian, all those bridges and everything else. How underwhelming was that, really? There was an amazing port where we started, that little car park, that was good. But the overall road, it was average. I mean, the highlight is obviously the big long curved bridge that goes over, and you know, it's got the tourist spot next to it where you can stop and do the pickies. But failed to live up to expectations. That is nowhere near the best road trip or the best road in the world ever. I would give that road, this is going to be pretty harsh, I was going to say a 5, but the bridges at the end make it 7, 6 out of 10 for that road. It was hardly worth the detour, but I'm glad I did see that big bridge. So it's been a pretty good run up to here. It's just a shame that the rain has been incessant. I don't know if this is day 4 or day 5 of it now. But we've just got to deal with it, and I've got to keep moving forward. So tomorrow is going to be a mile muncher. We've got to get ourselves up north to Home, which is the start of the next route that we're doing, and that's the last route that takes us all the way to Budo, however you pronounce it. I keep getting it wrong. So join us next time when we set off with even more rain, and then it gets even wetter. We didn't think that was possible. We end up on the outskirts of Trondheim with the nightmare of speed cameras, traffic cameras. It starts raining more and there's lots more traffic. And then we end up at the Stiklestad National Cultural Centre. We see the church where St. Olaf fell in 1030. We visit the Viking longhouse there, and inside it we find a real Viking on a 900-year-old lathe. We look at the wood carvings and such like. We see a lot of pikes. And we also see 2 pigs, the resident pigs of the longhouse. Then we're setting off north again. It's still raining, but gradually the weather starts to pick up and the skies open up a bit. And we even see rainbows. Back to rainbows again. We're on ferry trip number 12. We make it to our camping and find a very nice hut. And finally Wilbur gets some maintenance and we find out his chain is completely shot. All that and more next time on Wilbur's Arctic Adventure.